Hey everybody, how's it going? Christian from Treasure Town here, and today we're going to be talking about the wheat penny errors for the decade 1940 to 1949. There's a lot to cover, but the way that this is set up is I'll try to go pretty quick and go through the different errors. I've got photos of them all through 1940, and then I'll talk about the values at different price points and different conditions, and then we'll also kind of talk about some of the main markers, how you can find them, and a little bit about how they were made. So let's get right into the presentation. So the first of our 1940s pennies that has an error variety is the 1941, coming in hot, a pretty significant one, even though I didn't know about it before this video. It's strongly doubled in the B of Liberty. You can also see the extra bars in the E and the R. The We Trust is also just super prominent, this time with more of an east spread. You can see it protruding from the ends of the S, the U, the R, the T in We Trust, also kind of in that bottom bar. And this one's pretty valuable. AU53, $150, mid-state 63, $300. Then it ranges up beyond that, and that's a big thing with these coins, is that especially at the top condition grades, since there's not that many people in the market for them, if there's only one person bidding on a coin, which is more common because there's a lower population of people collecting these coins, sometimes it can fall through, whereas if, say, 2 or 3 people really want it, it can go way high. In terms of another tip, as we get to the 1942 double die obverse, you can also look for these in already graded coins. So, 1942 in a mid-state 66 holder, check it out, see if there's not the error, because a lot of people don't look. And it happens all the time. So the doubling here, it's a little bit more northward. You can see it in the 1, the 9 of the 1942. You can also see it in the eyelid. That's a pretty significant, prominent doubling. XF45, $45. This one isn't quite as significant. Mid-state 63, $150, but still a cool one to be looking for. The 1942D repunched mint mark. This one protrudes from the top over here. It seems to be more of a westward repunching. There's no AU values, but often the repunchment marks get really low. They fall off harder at the lower condition ranges. Mid-state 63 is a $75 coin, though, and mid-state 65 red is $300. So there is still some notable value here. I didn't do any of the 1943. I probably should have. This one is a double die obverse and repunchment mark. You can see some notching in the B there, some spread northward in the top of the T and the Y, and then the repunchment mark here, the S, is kind of protruding to the west here. You can see it where the serif and the body of the S, they're kind of connected, you could say. AU53 is a $45 coin, mid-state 63 $150, and mid-state 65 red is $350. So definitely not a bad coin to be looking for. There's also some ones where it's only the repunchment mark, and you can see that because there's the split in the body of the S here. But there isn't that doubling. AU53 also pretty valuable, similar value to before, $60. Mid-state 63 is $100, mid-state 65 is $300. 1944, there are some wrong Planchet, and I'm realizing I should have included the 1943 copper Planchet, but 1943 they made them with these steel with zinc around the plating. They continued that on a tiny number of the 1944 coins, so those are very rare. 1943, any copper coins are very rare, but I'm not going to spend too much time on them. I have an entire video devoted to the 1943 coins, so that's why I didn't put them in, but I probably should have put in at least the copper ones from 1943 as ones to look for. These are hugely valuable, but a lot tougher to actually find. The 1944D double die obverse, I think you have a slightly better chance of finding. And this one's more marked by, supreme extra thickness in this 9 in the lettering all throughout. There's not as strong doubling, and I think it's a little bit more challenging to diagnose and find these extra thickness ones with the values. Certainly hold for it, $200 mid-state 63 and $575 for a 65 red. After that, there's the repunchment mark, which you can see clearly here. I like the repunchment marks where it's clear. Strong separation in the north of the D-mint mark underneath. This one, XF40, is a $20 coin. 55 is a $50 coin. Forgot the dollar sign. Sorry about that. Then mid-state 65 red is a $150 one. There's also the overmint mark, and this one, the S is far higher. You can see in the D, but it's better to look above where there's the top bar of the S. And this one's pretty valuable. XF40 is $100. The over mint marks are generally more valuable than the repunch mint marks because it's, one mint, the Denver over San Francisco in this case. Sometimes it's inverted, but that's a lot more significant. So XF40 is $100, AU53 is $225, and then Mint State 63 is $400, and it'll go up from there. There's also the 44D and 44S wrong Planchet coins, but yeah, any steel cent that's 1944, you've either got a plated fake or a really good coin on your hands. 1945, there's also a double die obverse, not super strong in terms of the spread. You can see a little bit of a bar above the E here, above the R, and then in the date itself, a little bit along the inside and the top, but not super pronounced. Couldn't find any price history on AU coins. Mint State 63 is $100. Mint State 65 red, $500. So again, there is a lot of values with them, but this one I wish that it was a little more pronounced. I think you can also see a little bit of a split in the left of that 5. Here, there's another over mint mark. This one is an S over a D, and you can see it kind of in the Denver mint mark is inside of the S mint mark. I don't think that's super clear, but this one, again, also going to have those high multi-$100 values in Mint State. Then we get to the 1947 repunchment mark. This one, I think that it's like impossible to see. Maybe you can see a little bit of a split in the top serif here, but I don't really buy it. I just figured, I'm trying to give you the full overview, so I had to include it. It's absolutely a, has an FS listing and has, you can attribute these with PCGS and GC, but it's a little tougher. I don't know if I'd include it. AU53 is a $20 coin. Mint State 63 is a $60 one. Mint State 65 goes to $150. So the values kind of reflect that it's not a huge, really high contrast one. And then I think that this is the last one, 1949D repunch mint mark. This one, I like it better because you can definitely see the Northeast. There's extra loop that's strong above it. AU53 here is a $35 coin. Mint State 63 is $100. Mint State 65 is $400. So, it's not kind of sneaking in like the one on the previous coin. Here, if you have it, you'll know it. And just kidding about the last one. This one also a challenging double die obverse, not the most obvious out there, but you can see it in the top bar of the 4. And that's probably the best place to see it, though the 1 is also kind of protruding a little bit in the opposite direction. So this one's also a double die. It's an AU53. It's a $30 coin. Mint State 63 is an $80, and then Mint State 65 is a $300 pickup. Thanks for watching the video. I'd encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe for more content, and get in touch with me on my website, treasuretownYT.com, Facebook, TreasureTown, Instagram @TreasureTownYT, or Twitter @TreasureTown_YT, and I'll look forward to seeing you on some of my future vids.